All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the call tonight. Great to see you all on here, prioritizing your health. I know I speak for Rachel when I say that we are excited about the call tonight and so appreciate you taking the time to learn about something that could quite literally change your life. So we're going to hear some powerful testimonials in just a minute. We're going to open it up for Q&A for those live on the call tonight. But just a little bit about who we are. So I am Beth Blackmore. I'm a health and empowerment coach. I've made some big changes in my life over the last couple of years. And about it's going to be 7 years. 7 years ago, this coming March, I started to make some really substantial lifestyle changes. So, changing up my food choices, my eating habits. I lost 60 pounds in the process. And I also left my government career behind, pension and all, when I wanted more medical freedom. And I also wanted to choose my passion, which was helping people with their own health goals and aspirations in life. So I consider myself a lifelong learner. I'm open to new information. And so it's almost probably 2 years ago, almost, when Rachel started to talk to me about quantum biology, circadian rhythm, harnessing the power of light and our light environment. And I started to change up my light environment. So, waking up earlier, harnessing the power of the sun, changing up my eating habits. So, eating a little bit earlier in the day rather than doing the intermittent fasting, also grounding in nature. So, when a good friend of mine reached out to me about a light patch, I was really intrigued. I invited Rachel on a call last May, so May 2024, and we were excited about what we had our hands on, including the science, the company Lifewave, and the life-changing testimonials. And really, my personal belief began when I started patching my mom. Um, I felt I was a fairly healthy person having gone through a tremendous transformation in my life. And I thought, okay, my mom could really benefit from her debilitating knee pain. And so within a day, my mom's knee pain significantly reduced. Her physiotherapist that she was seeing 3 times a week noticed more mobility, less inflammation, wondered what she was doing differently. And the only thing that had changed was this light patch that her daughter put on her. But it didn't stop there. She also started sleeping better. She had more energy. She wasn't napping during the day. She got back to the things that she loved doing, which was walking and gardening and swimming. And for me, the first thing I noticed was that I was also finally able to sleep through the night, having vivid dreams, which is unheard of for me. I used to have this lower back, this compression pain issue that I had dealt with for years, likely due to the poor posture sitting at a desk for most of my adult life. So I was going to chiropractor, every 3 weeks. So within a week, this pain, this tension in my lower back eased up. I also have more energy, more mental clarity. My focus has improved. I also have this sense of calm. And what truly is exciting is that I know that the best is yet to come. So my body is continuing to heal and repair and age, reverse. And there's also an incredibly exciting financial opportunity with the trajectory of this company. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. And we're going to hear some powerful testimonials again to kick off the call. But just before we do that, I would love to invite my good friend and co-host Rachel Maurice to introduce herself and share her journey with you.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you everyone for being here this evening and taking the time to spend with us. I do realize, and I always want to acknowledge people's time because it is very valuable. More time goes on, I realize that on a deeper level. So, as Beth said, my name is Rachel Maurice, and I worked as an anesthesiologist in Canada for close to 20 years. I left in 2021 because I wanted to be able to make decisions over my health and my family's health as well. And in that time, I didn't think that I'd be gone for very long. And what ended up happening was I started doing a lot of research and digging on information that was available, but really not easy to find. And while I was going in a bunch of different directions, what ended up coming up was this research that had been there for a long time, but not taught to us in medical school, and it is still not taught. And that is really how light is the primary driver of every single thing that takes place in the body. And modern medicine and all of the adjunctive uh, practices actually focus more on the fact that the body is a mechanical being and run on biochemistry. And while that is still, it's not completely false, it's an incomplete picture though, because upstream from that is light being the primary signal. So it drives all of the biochemistry that takes place in the body. So I started becoming very excited about this because really a lot of the things that can be done are simple and either inexpensive or free lifestyle changes to have a huge impact, not only on managing disease, but really reversing disease. And so I'm not actually speaking about the patches here, but they came into it because I'd been studying about light for a couple of years and red light panels. As you can tell, I have a red hue. I take my light environment very seriously. And so it's after dark and there's no more blue light in my home. So I very much about red light panels and making sure my light environment aligns with circadian rhythms. I had come across these patches and really didn't give them their due diligence for about a year because I didn't think there was anything beyond what I had already learned and known about red light panels. And it wasn't until another person came through that I had trusted and saw a transformation in her, started realizing I wanted to look at these. And that's when I ended up getting on the call, as Beth described, with Diane Hunt, who was a cardiac surgical nurse for 20 years. And this plays a part in that because it just so happens at that time, my mom's health was starting to decline to the point where her doctors were talking about heart surgery. And having spent 25 years in the operating room, while yes, there are some very life-saving surgeries that can happen, a lot of them that are bread and butter or even higher risk can do a lot more harm. And that just happened to be what and I think many of us keep in our minds when we see. And so I had a very skewed view and did not want my mom to have surgery if she didn't have to. And so the timing really was divine guidance because Diane shared not only stories, but investigations such as echocardiograms and ECGs of patients who had been in heart failure, as well as had rhythm disturbances that were not able to get out of them by conventional routes of cardioversion or just antiarrhythmics, which are just medications basically. After using these patches for 8, 10, 12 months, no longer being in heart failure to the degree that I have never seen in my career, nor had Diane Hunt, as well as rhythm disturbances, people no longer being in those problematic rhythms again after 8, 10, 12 months. So, needless to say, we got started right away because after investigating, as you'll hear as we present, there was literally no downside and no harm could come from trying these patches. So, we got my mom started. I started as well. And eventually my kids got started. But I prepared my mom to give it a year because the body takes time to heal. We live in a society where we expect things to happen quickly. We're conditioned to think they happen quickly, but really the body, the way that we are designed, it takes time to heal. So I prepared her for a year. I was absolutely shocked that within 2 weeks, as we walked on a regular basis, she went from having to stop every 2 to 3 steps to catch her breath from her heart failure to walking with me for 20 to 30 minutes on an incline while talking to me at the same time. And then within 3 weeks, her doctor had to lower her thyroid medication that she had been on for over 30 years. She had some other transformations happen in terms of energy and varicose veins diminishing, spider veins disappearing, her skin completely clearing up. She definitely had some issues with her skin. And I since started sharing because that was absolutely miraculous and like nothing I had seen in 30 years of medicine. And I couldn't help but share with people because everyone around me is struggling or suffering with something that they are just not getting resolution with, no matter what they're looking at. So we can share more about that afterwards, but we will get on with, again, valuing your time, honoring the time here. I believe we're going to get on with a testimonial and then the presentation.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. Love hearing that story. I would love to call on Deb. I see you on my screen. I would love if you could share, if you could unmute and share your story tonight.
Hi, sure. Yeah, definitely. I've been on the patches now for a little over 10 months. And when I started, the reason why I wanted to get on the patches was because my sleep was horrific. And my mother was going through a lot of changes, which meant a lot of extra time spent there. And it was stressful. And it just took its toll. But it took me about 3 months before I got what I wanted. And the lesson learned there was that the patch will work on what it needs to work on, regardless of what you think you want it to work on at the get-go. Everybody's different. So I had my first thing was within the first 3 weeks, I had some sciatica that was really a bother. I would have to hold on to the handrail going up and down the stairs. And then all of a sudden I realized I wasn't doing that. I was pretty much running up and down the stairs without having to hold on to the handrail. Then at the 3 month mark, my sleep just transformed. I just have been sleeping fabulously ever since. It's just wonderful. Clarity, calm, and energy, just a threefold there that just seemed to come together, which was super awesome. I've had some skin tags fall off. I would say maybe about month and a half ago. What else? Oh yeah, I went to the eye doctor and they decreased my glasses prescription, hence some new glasses. My thyroid support that I had been on for 3.5 years, I am no longer on. I am totally fine without it. And I had gone to the doctor last year and just, had some regular blood tests done. And there was some markers around my heart that had come up, and he says, well, we should keep an eye on them. I also see a naturopath and a iridologist, if you know what that is. But anyways, they both picked up on my heart as well. A month and a half ago, I went to my naturopath and she was checking me out, and she's looking confused and looking puzzled. And basically, she says, I'm not picking anything up on your heart anymore. Like nothing. Like she says, I don't know what it could be. She says, I don't understand how something like that could just change. Anyways, yeah, I look forward to seeing what else comes up. So it's been a great journey. Grateful to be here.
Amazing, Deb. Thanks so much for sharing tonight. And yeah,
You
it just
bet.
goes to show that everybody's different. So while we often hear about one patch wonders and people having, amazing success overnight or even within a couple days or a week, that, patience is key. And so that you really started to feel the benefits 3 months in. So grateful for your patience and so grateful that you came on the call tonight to share. Thank you.
You bet.
And now I'd like to call on Andia. If you can unmute yourself and share your powerful story tonight. Are you there? There you are.
I'm here. I'm driving. I had to pull over quick.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. I'm glad to be here to share this testimony with you. So I have a podcast called Quantum Healthy, and we had invited Rachel to come on because we wanted her to share her story, and she had shared her story about her mom that she just shared. And obviously, I was very intrigued because at the time, my mom had just been diagnosed with, well, not just, she had been about 3 months or 4 months prior to me meeting Rachel. She had been diagnosed with polymyalgia. And she was not in a wheelchair, but she could hardly walk. And she was on 3 pills of prednisone a day. And that medication has really nasty side effects, suicidal ideation, sorry, and and the whole gambit. So obviously it was heartbreaking to see my mom in that way. And at around the 6 month mark, she was fully off her prednisone, and she can walk just fine now. She doesn't have the diagnosis anymore, and she's been on the patch now over a year. I've also been on the patch over a year, and just to be honest, I wasn't going to wear it. I just needed to get it on my mom. And then Rachel mentioned collagen production and hair growth. And for a really long time, my hair did not grow really past my shoulders. And my hair is now starting to grow and very like much thicker, noticeable by my hairdresser and people that are close to me. My eyesight is also, my glasses went, or my eyes corrected 0.25 diopters. I no longer have period cramps. And these things I was not expecting. I also had no withdrawal symptoms when I quit caffeine. So no headaches, no 2 weeks of tiredness, none of that. And what I noticed from the get-go was my energy levels and the mental clarity. They happened for me like within the first couple weeks quite quickly. And I knew something was happening. So I think I hit on everything, all the big things. So I will let you guys get back to it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Check, check, check. All these amazing benefits that you have experienced. And I appreciate you coming on the call tonight and pulling over. So thank you for that, Andia. So now we're going to get into the formal part of the presentation. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up here a slide deck to go through. And so, I mean, basically what you are going to learn tonight is how your own light that you emit can actually activate your body's natural and powerful ability to heal. And I do want to say at the outset, so disclaimer, Lifewave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. This patch is not a medical device that requires FDA to approve it. It is considered a general wellness product by the FDA. So, did you know that our stem cells in our body, our own stem cells actually go dormant? So by the age of 30, healthy stem cells decrease by 60%. By 60 years old, those healthy stem cells decrease by 90%. And, you know, unfortunately, not only is this natural aging process occurring and contributing to our decline in health, but unfortunately, this world that we live in, right, with the modern conveniences, consumerism, unfortunately, we are inundated with toxins and chemicals in the air, in the food, in the water, in the man-made synthetic radiation that's everywhere. And all of this leads to cellular dysfunction. And our bodies actually require healthy, active stem cells to heal and repair the body. And so the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. So stem cells, for those of you that do not know, they are the undifferentiated cells that then become any cell in your body. So they become your liver cells, your heart cells, your lung cells, your hair cells, even your brain cells. And, you know, I know that we have heard of stem cell therapy, but we know that it can also be risky and invasive. It's not widely accessible or available. It can have huge risk. It also has a huge price tag to it. I actually heard that it's actually only about 50% effective because those stem cells just stay local to the injection site and they're not your own. So this is why regenerating your own stem cells within you is so exciting and why this phototherapy patch is such a powerful option. So phototherapy, or healing with light, is becoming more of a household name, right? We're hearing more about Rachel's red light panels and the red light therapy gadgets. But phototherapy is nothing new. It's actually something that all living beings depend on. The sun is nature's original phototherapy. It signals our bodies to make vital vitamin D and other vital processes in the body. But photobiomodulation is a specific type of phototherapy or light therapy that uses specific wavelengths of light to stimulate cells that then go to promote healing. It boosts energy, it reduces inflammation, it improves blood flow, it helps with tissue repair. And so what has us so excited is that now it's accessible, it's non-invasive, it's affordable, and risk-free. And so what if these little wearable light patches are also capable of increasing a naturally occurring copper peptide in the body? Well, that's exactly what this patch does. So through this process of photobiomodulation, this little patch increases the production of our own GHKCU copper peptide. And this is known as the holy grail of age reversal. And again, these are not synthetic peptides, right? You are not injecting them. They are not exogenous. They are your own naturally occurring. But just like with stem cells, GHKCU actually decreases with age. So this unique copper peptide was isolated back in 1973 by Dr. Laurent Picard. I have his book right here. So he's a PhD and researcher that isolated it back in the 70s. And so there's 50 years of research to back it up. And you can research it all for yourself. You can find all kinds of studies on pubmed.gov. And so some of the incredible benefits of GHKCU that we know is that it boosts elastin and collagen. Again, this is our own production of collagen, just as Andia was saying. It supports tissue repair and regeneration. It's known to have multiple anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-pain, and even, I mentioned anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-pain, anti-anxiety properties. GHKCU is also known to reset over 4,000 genes in our body, in our genome, basically resetting DNA to a younger, healthier state. But what is so exciting is that, and what we know that the research shows is that GHKCU reactivates our own dormant stem cells. And it does this through the power of this patch. So the X39 from Lifewave is a wearable phototherapy patch about the size of a quarter. You can see it here on my wrist. This patch consists of organic materials, so amino acids, sugars, water, oxygen, and salt that form this crystal lattice structure that reflects these wavelengths of light. And what I love about this, and what is really, goes against anything that we've learned, right, with the conventional medical establishment, is that nothing is on this patch that's going into your skin. So they are non-transdermal. They are latex free. They do not contain any drugs or chemicals or stimulants. There are no contraindications, and so they don't interfere with any medications because, again, nothing is being absorbed into your body. It's a completely different mechanism from what we're used to. So this patented product uses the process of photobiomodulation. So it's activated by your own infrared heat, your own light. And what's really amazing, right, is that we are all light beings. We all emit a low-level infrared light. We are all warm to the touch. You can see that heat coming off us with those night vision goggles, right, that you see in the movies. So think of this patch as a simple mirror, reflecting specific light frequencies back into the body, signaling biological changes at the cellular level, including upregulating GHKCU and reactivating your own stem cells. So now that you know how this patch works, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel to walk us through the incredible benefits of the X39 patch.
Thank you, Beth. And while this says benefits of Lifewave X39, I just want to reinforce that the X39 increases that amazing copper peptide that Beth was mentioning, the GHKCU. So really, these are the benefits of the GHKCU copper peptide, which you can go look up in PubMed for that 50 years of research. And so these are just some of the effects of that GHKCU copper peptide. It helps with reducing inflammation and pain. And for those unaware, inflammation is actually foundational to almost all chronic diseases. It's not the root cause, but it is pervasive across chronic disease states. So reducing that can have a huge impact on alleviating symptoms and even eliminating disease. And pain is a big one. How many people do you know that are walking around with chronic back pain or any other kind of chronic pain syndrome? I am well aware of how deep it is in our society because there's a subspecialty in anesthesia for chronic pain. And it was a people sought out the chronic pain clinics because it is just something that is, again, very pervasive in society. So alleviating that allows people to help get back a lot of things in their lives that they were unable to do before. improving strength, stamina, and energy levels. And this is a big one, but it's not even just for people who are sick. This can be used for people who want to take their athletic performance to the next level. So there are a lot of professional sports players and Olympic athletes that are using these patches because any edge on the competition can make a big difference. Improving muscle and bone density. And this is something that declines as we age, so extremely beneficial. Improves mental clarity and reduces stress. And this is also something that is it's bigger than we think, because really what we want in life is to connect with our loved ones and our family and friends. And even if, say, our bodies are not doing what we would like them, if our mental or cognition and our brain is working well, then at least we can continue to have quality relationships. So being able to improve mental clarity is a big one, reducing stress as well, because most people, medicine doesn't give enough credence to the idea that stress actually impacts our physical well-being, not just our mental and emotional. But that again is a big one because of the last 5 years, it has just escalated. And so being able to reduce that stress can improve our lives so significantly. Balancing hormones and easing anxiety, improving hair growth and skin appearance. Now, while we think about that as beauty and on the exterior with our hair, skin, and nails, really that has to do with an increase in collagen production. And collagen, it goes deeper than skin deep. It's actually the most abundant protein in the body, about 70%. And it is something that holds the infrastructure of the entire body together. It makes up most of the fascia, the connective tissue. And while that is about structure, it is also about communication, because the way collagen is structured, it forms these water nanotubules in the middle, and it connects every single part of the body, and water or light travels through the water network in the body, and therefore these water networks actually are the quantum communication superhighway. And we know when communication is good, just in our lives between people, everything functions well. When communication breaks down, things start to fall apart. Promotes cellular repair and wound healing, and improves sleep quality. And sleep is also something that we don't give enough value to. While yes, we would like to feel better, have deeper sleep, and wake up rested, there's actually much more going on when we sleep. We are doing all of the repair that needs to take place in our body, and we use our bodies and our cells function during the day. And just like anything else that's used, it needs rest, repair, regeneration, fixing, and that takes place mostly when we are sleeping. So the quality of sleep it has a really big impact on our health. So the long-term results, these are, sorry, my screen is blocking it. The long-term results, within the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger state. So they start to express and make proteins like you did when you were younger. Now, for context, we only have about 20,000 genes in our genome. So 4,000 out of 20,000 is a massive amount. And as well, for more context, many people might have heard about the benefits of red wine, and the reason there are benefits is because of a molecule called resveratrol. Now, resveratrol has been taken out of red wine, bottled, sold in the store as a supplement, so you can go to your local health food store and just grab a bottle, and people pop those things regularly. The benefits and all the attention given to that molecule is because it resets two genes. So two, and there's a lot of attention. And here we have over 4,000 genes able to reset to a younger state. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes more balanced. So what does that mean? It means the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain are actually speaking to each other. And as I mentioned before, communication is key for us to express health. So this is imperative. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. And I love that how David Schmidt says this is not anti-aging, it's age reversal. So how do you wear this? This is one of the best things that I love about this patch. I mean, there are so many to talk about, but this is the simplest thing that I have ever come across in the 30 years I've been in medicine and the around 8 years that I have been deep in the holistic world. Literally, it is a sticker. You take off the backing, you stick it on your body. You have to put it on your body for it to work. So you put it on your body, you wear it for 12 hours, you take it off after 12 hours, and you give your body a break for 12 hours, and then you repeat that. You put one on the next day, and then you continue that for 3 months is really a minimum. The research shows 97% of people see an effect by 90 days. So you really want to at least give it 90 days. But the recommendation is a month for every decade that you've been alive on the planet. And that is for full reactivation of your stem cells. But the longer you wear the patches, the more benefits you will see and the more reversal of aging you will get. And so if you are anything like me, I am all about prevention. So this is something that works. It's safe. It's simple. I am going to be using this for the rest of my life as long as the planet is the way it is, because it is not the way it was originally designed. We have so many more stressors on our body in the modern world between what's in our food, in our air, in the water, all of the EMFs that we are swimming in. Our body needs a little support. And again, this is the safest and simplest way to do that. Now, you can put it anywhere on your body. The research was done in two particular spots, which is one shown on here below C7 behind the neck or the belly button. And after you take it off, you want to give your body a rest for 12 hours, because if something is stimulated on a constant basis, we lose the ability to respond, but there's still a little bit of life left in it. So some people put it on their pets, like that's what I do with my dog, or on their plants. And we have an amazing story about a plant. It just goes to show it's not placebo. You want to make sure you drink plenty of water and with added electrolytes. So that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a powder that you buy in the store. It can be unrefined salt, which is what I do. And that just means all the minerals are still attached. But it's important to add those electrolytes because that helps with retention of water in the body. And as I talked about earlier, that's how light travels. So it's really important we stay hydrated. It also adds to the charge, and our cells are negatively charged, and that is how we are healthy. So we want to maintain that negative charge. And because these patches work through increasing that copper peptide, we have to make sure that we've got all of the substances, including copper, just like when you make a cake. I don't know if anyone's ever left out the salt, even though it's a quarter teaspoon, the whole cake tastes funny. So you want to make sure you get copper. And I look at diet first before any supplements. At the top of the list is everyone's favorite, organ meats. Second is probably everyone's second favorite, oysters. I can't handle oysters, but seafood or shellfish. And for those that don't eat any of those other ones, this is not an exhaustive list, but avocados, nuts and seeds, cashews in particular, and sunflower seeds, and then probably everyone's favorite, a little square of dark chocolate. And a little square is enough copper for the day. You don't have to eat the whole bar. So what to expect, and this was touched on a little bit earlier in Deb's testimonial, where she said that everyone's different and we are all different. And that, again, is one of the things that I was not taught in medicine, because we have these guidelines that we are giving out to every person, regardless of what's going on individually with them. And so we all come to this planet with a different set of genetic instructions. We've had a different number of years on the planet. We've had a different number and amount of stressors, again, different environment. So whether that is physical stressors, emotional, mental, or chemical, or energetic stressors, we are all different in terms of the amount and the time. And so it does help each individual body differently in a different order, a different sequence. And so while you might want to try the patches for a particular issue, your body might say, no, we got to work on something else first. Just like my mom's friend who was 85 and he had these headaches, he wanted to go away. Within 2 months, the headaches were still there, but he was no longer wearing his reading glasses. So his body had the wisdom. It has a wisdom that I don't think we'll ever figure out, nor should we, but it knows what to repair in what order. And oftentimes, we don't feel that repair taking place. And this is one of the unfortunate downsides when people aren't in connection and stay in contact with whoever helped them with the patches, is because people think when they don't feel something, it means it's not working. And that is absolutely not true. We've got about 100,000 reactions going on in our body every single second of the day. We're not feeling that. And there's a lot of things we're not feeling. Our pancreas secreting insulin. We're not feeling our heart cells. We're not feeling a lot of the electrical impulses that are happening in our brain, maybe. So a lot of times things can happen inside. And just as an example, there are 3 people now, actually it's 4 people that have had kidney failure who are using the patches, and they didn't feel anything. But after months of wearing the patches, because they were monitored by their specialist from their lab work, they were shown no longer to be in kidney failure. If they had only gone by what they felt, they probably would have stopped and said, this isn't working. But that is just one big example of it is working and your body knows exactly what to do with it. If you are tired, that usually means it's working as well, because while I don't like to liken our bodies to machines, everyone understands a cell phone nowadays. And when we've got a full battery, you can do anything. You can use anything that's on your phone, any app, any streaming, multiple things at the same time, and it's working well. But as you start to drain that battery and you get to low battery mode or low power, your screen starts to shut down. You don't have the capacity to use apps or streaming. And so it's conserving the energy, the battery. Our body also functions as a battery. So we need a certain amount to run every single function in our body, but it takes extra energy for healing. And so your body might be telling you, signaling to slow down and to stop expending energy in a way that is not allowing the healing to happen so your body can take care of that healing. So just honor the sleep and as well practice proper breathing, which most of us don't do in society. We want to make sure that we are using our diaphragm to pull in the oxygen to where we've got most of the blood circulating, because the end point of where that oxygen goes to is actually making energy. So here we have some real results that you can see. On the left-hand side, this is actually someone on our in our business, and you can see that's a span of 6 months. So July of 2024, you can see on the left-hand side, there's sparse hair in the hairline, and over the time on the right-hand side, that's January of 25, there has been quite a bit of hair growth growing in there. We also have someone else on our team whose son at 35 who had alopecia, which is an autoimmune disease, but no hair. For 10 years, they tried just about everything and nothing worked. But within 6 days, he started to get some peach fuzz. And then within, I believe it was 2.5 months, had about half an inch of hair growth. It's quite remarkable. And this one on the right-hand side, we see that is a curvature of the spine. And every time I see this, it's just, I find it unbelievable, because this was 1 month of using the X39 patches. And you can see how the spine has straightened out. And it says here on the slide as well, she was using Lifewave, but that one doesn't help with the regeneration. That just helps with pain reduction. And here we have on the left-hand side a lady with what is called vitiligo. And what that means is just there are areas where there's a lack of pigmentation, a lack of melanin. So it's a patchy, you can see there's patchy color discoloration on the left-hand image. And while she said she tried everything to clear it up, nothing worked. Once she started the X39, it cleared up. And while it's a different color on the right-hand image, the importance in this picture is the fact that it is a nice uniform color on her back. So it's an even pigment of melanin, and that is actually resolution of the vitiligo. On the right-hand side, while this is not necessarily obvious to everyone, this is a knee after a knee replacement. And this was using the patch for 2 days, the change in that wound healing. And that is absolutely incredibly significant. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, spending 25 years in the operating room, seeing this stuff all the time, it is very rapid wound healing. And here is a brain scan of a 77-year-old woman. And as you can see on the left-hand side, this was before using the X39. There's a lot of red there, and that shows inflammation. And what we want to see is light blue and green. So there's a little bit there, but the dark blue is low activity. In the middle session, this is only 3 weeks. And I just want to share 3 weeks is a very short period of time. When you think about medications that people have been on and been put on, and their doctors say to either wait 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever, this is 3 weeks and all of the inflammation is gone. That red is gone, no inflammation. There's a little bit more of that blue and light green, or the green and light blue coming in, which means coherence. And on the right-hand side, 6 weeks using the X39, no inflammation, no red. There is a lot more of that light blue and green, which again means coherence. And coherence means the left and the right side of the brain are speaking to each other. And that means they can then communicate to the rest of the body in harmony. And that is how we express health.
Awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much. So, who is the miracle man that is responsible for all of this? We absolutely love sharing the heart of Lifewave, which is this genius, David Schmidt. David is the CEO of this 20-year-old company. He actually started working for the US government. He was actually contracted to work for the Navy SEAL survival program, where he was creating something that could keep the SEALs alert, mentally focused on missions that lasted 36 hours. And that's where the first patch of Lifewave was actually born. That was his first patent. He now has over, I believe, 201 patents to his name. But then through his networks and connections, David found himself at Stanford University patching the U.S. Women's Olympic swim team. They ended up having amazing success with it. They set personal records, but this was 20 years ago. Then in 2008, David turned his attention to stem cell research, knowing that the future of medicine and regenerative science was in stem cells. And so he began to figure out a way that he could harness the natural stem cells that are inside the human body. And so by 2020, after 10 years of research, $4.5 million later, he had received a 20-year patent on this X39, which is the only phototherapy patch that activates our own dormant stem cells. And so this resulted in tremendous growth for Lifewave, closing out 2024 over 600 million. So a 3,000% growth rate in 4 years. And so Lifewave has been recognized by this massive growth by DSN, Direct Selling News. So the Bravo Growth Award honors companies with the highest year-over-year revenue growth on the Global 100 list. And so companies that are not only scaling their businesses, but setting new benchmarks for the entire industry. And so Lifewave has now received the Bravo Growth Award for 2 years in a row now. And now, hot off the press, Lifewave just earned one of the top recognitions in biotech and life sciences among industry giants, which included thousands of nominations from over 15 countries. So Lifewave Lifewave product won the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year in 2025. So there is really no competition out there in the market. This is a novel product. No one else has this. No one else can have this with this 20-year-old patent. There is the 22-page patent, but this one paragraph really says it all. Elevates copper peptides, activates stem cells, improvements in strength, stamina, pain relief. So again, the patent is on the structure. Remember that material, the crystal lattice structure, where the patch reflects the specific light frequencies back into the body. And so they had to prove that it works. So clinical studies were done to show the significant increase in the production of copper peptide. GHKCU, and it was measured through blood samples, urine analysis, other lab analysis. I encourage you, especially if you like to do your own research, check out that website. thisisitinfo.com. This is our team website. This is a great website with videos explaining the technology, David Schmidt being interviewed, doctors being interviewed. There's also powerful testimonials that have a wide range, so you can learn all about, lung improvement, neuropathy. There's a whole section on children. So again, you can check out the powerful testimonials at thisisitinfo.com. So what we've shared with you tonight really goes far beyond the surface, because we know it is not just about less pain or more energy, but it's about what that healing allows you to do. Maybe allows what it allows your family members to do. It allows you to thrive with more confidence, more energy, feeling better from the inside out. And for some, it could also be easing of finances and potentially creating financial freedom with the momentum that this company is on, the trajectory that this company is on. So just by sharing, blessing your friends and family, you can offset the cost of your patches, maybe make a bill payment, a car payment, live a life with more ease, or even a life full of abundance. This is the power of the patch. So let me share with you how you can get started. So Lifewave offers 3 options to enroll. These patches, prices are in US dollars. And so for a month's worth of patches, 30 patches in a sleeve. So retail customer, you're paying full pop, $149.95 US. We often see practitioners in the States set themselves up like this, offering this to their patients. But of course, we promote getting you set up at the wholesale pricing of $99. And so then you have 2 options to set you up. You can sign up as a preferred customer, commit to a monthly subscription, or as a brand partner. And as a brand partner, not only can you take advantage of the wholesale price, but you can also secure a spot on the team and can leverage the incredible momentum that this company is experiencing by building a business without additional cost. There is no overhead. It is just the cost of your personal patches. And so we often see people begin to experience success. They naturally share the products with others. They earn a commission, and sometimes they end up building a full-time business. We have many people on our team, including Rachel and I, that are building successful businesses because we saw the opportunity right away. So signing up as a brand partner, there's no pressure to share or build the business, nor is there an additional investment? As I said, you're just paying for the cost of your personal patches. So there are 4 enrollment kits, and this is just to get you started. This has nothing to do with a monthly auto ship. But as you can see with these enrollment kits, the more that you purchase upon signing up, the better the value. The cost of those sleeves come down considerably for your order, and you can actually upgrade anytime through any of these enrollment kits. You're just paying the cost, or you're just paying the difference. And then receiving the difference in the number of sleeves. And so that way you can have some on hand to start sharing with friends and family, loan them out, gift them to your aging parents, and loan them out to people as they wait for their order. It's really fun to get people started with patching before their order comes in. So having extra sleeves on hand can really set you up for success right out of the gate. We have a very attractive compensation plan for those interested in sharing the product. We actually have just launched Comp Plan 2.0. So the comp plan is even more generous and set up for the long game. It's actually a hybrid compensation plan where it's a binary where you're building 2 teams, a left team and a right team, but you also get paid unilevel now. And so the other thing is that with the Rachel and I are both newbies to direct sales. And so we have been successful because of our amazing team and the leadership that they've shown. So we do have incredible leadership. We have an incredible team with the supports and the training and the systems in place to grow your business. It is waiting for you. You do not need any prior experience in sales or network marketing. It really is all about helping people with the freedom model. And so with health being at the foundation of it all. So we hope that you do seriously consider this modality for your health goals, potentially for your financial goals. We encourage you to reach back out to the person that invited you on the call tonight. We will be opening up for those on the call for Q&As, so just stay tuned. But for those tuning into the replay, we thank you for taking the time and learning about this revolutionary healing modality. We hope to see you on the team soon, and we hope to hear your powerful testimonial soon. Take care, everyone.